Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I know we all want beautiful, flexible hamstrings so we can do all of those crazy bendy shapes that we dream about doing in the air, but it can be hard to get your hamstrings moving and flexible and bendy and ready to go. So today I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite hamstring stretches. These are stretches that I use in my warm-up before a show or when I'm training, and they really both help activate my hamstrings and increase my flexibility. As always, I'll start with just a quick reminder to please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out when you guys subscribe and like my videos. I have lots and lots of other aerial tutorials over there, plus lots of other aerial videos that if you like this video, you will probably like them too. So give it a look and don't forget to subscribe. A couple of things before we get started. The first one is to make sure you are warm when you start stretching. You could do some jogging with high knees, you can do some jumping jacks, or you could do some grand plies. I really like that one for myself. Just anything you can do to get your body moving and warm. I'm also going to remind you to make sure you're doing all these stretches with proper form. Getting down low into a split or low into a stretch does not help you if you're doing it with bad technique. Even if it means you have to go higher, it's better to do a stretch that looks less impressive with good technique than to force yourself down but have bad placement and technique. Start with the most basic hamstring stretch, which is just touching your toes. Place your feet slightly apart, about hip width. Reach over and touch the ground with straight knees. You can either keep your back flat or relax over and let your back round slightly. Both are okay. Make sure your knees are nice and straight, don't let them bend. And make sure that you're going as far down as you can, but not pushing too much. If you want, you can also round and flatten your back. Flatten and then round, flatten and then round. This is a great warm-up for your back as well as for your hamstrings. A similar version of this is to put your feet wider apart, so in second position for you dancers out there. And then with straight knees, rock your hips from side to side. This is going to get a slightly more in-depth hamstring stretch happening and stretch around your hip socket a little bit more. Another thing you can do while you're here is to just bend your knees, come into a deep grand plie, lowering your hips down, and then raise them back up. This is going to stretch your hips and your hamstrings and continue to warm you up. Let's take it down to the floor. This is another super simple hamstring stretch. Your feet are slightly apart with your legs directly out in front of you. Flex your feet nice and hard. Try to even lift your heels off the ground slightly. Then reach forward, wrap your hands around the balls of your feet, and pull your chest towards your feet. Don't let your back round like this. You want to keep your back nice and flat. That's going to be a deeper, more effective stretch. Once you've done the flat back version for a little while, you can now round your back and let your head come down towards your knees. This is a slightly different stretch. It's not going to get as deep as the flat back version, but it is going to stretch out your back a little more. And having a flexible back is a very important thing to complement your hamstring flexibility. While we're sitting on the floor, let's do this little leg pull. Lift up one leg and grab the ball of your foot with your hands. Keep your back nice and straight and your knee also stretched and straight. Pull the leg up as close as you can towards your chest. If you want, you can open out one arm, so opposite arm to leg. You can also bend and straighten your knee a few times. That's a great one in this position. And if you're feeling ambitious, you can pull your head towards your knee. This is a surprisingly deep and difficult stretch, so give it a try if you're feeling ambitious. Don't forget that if you can't go as far as I'm going, that is totally okay. Don't try to force yourself down. Next up, lay all the way down on your back and lift up one leg, bringing it nice and straight. Grab again the ball of your foot. Anytime you grab the ball of your foot, it's going to really stretch you a lot more deeply. If you point your foot, it's a nice stretch, but it's just not quite as deep and effective. So try to grab the ball of your foot if your flexibility will allow, bringing the leg towards your face, keeping your hips nice and square and the opposite leg on the floor. With this stretch, it is really easy to fall in the trap of letting your knee bend. Do not let it happen. It is very important to have a straight knee in this stretch, or else it's not really going to do anything to help you out. If you need to, you can also take your hands and push on your knee to push it into a straight position while your opposite hand is pulling your leg back towards your face. Let's come back up to our knees and let's do a little bit of splits preparations. From kneeling on your knees, put one leg in front with a straight knee. Again, you may see a theme here, it's always straight knees. From there, lean forward and press your chest towards your leg. Flex your foot if you can, keep your back nice and flat. Also be careful to keep your leg directly in front of you. You want it in front of your hips, not out to the side at all. While you're here, try rotating your foot in and out so your leg is turning with your foot and you're stretching all the sides of your hamstring. If this feels comfortable, you can also come down to your elbows. That's for the more advanced flexibility people among us. And now that you've done your splits preparation stretch, you can do your full split. It's the same setup, put one leg in front, but after you put your chest forward and your hands on the ground, you slide your hips down as far as you can go. Again, make sure your leg's in front of you and your hips are facing directly forward. As you slide down, don't let your back hip open up. Keep that nice alignment. If it's up like this, that is totally fine. If it's down flat to the floor, that's great too. You just need to make sure you're doing what you can do with good technique. If you're far away from the floor, that is fine. You'll get down to the floor eventually. Also be careful of your back knee. You should have the knee facing directly towards the ground and not turned out and opened like this. Having your hips square and your knee facing towards the ground are what is going to train your split. Even if you're up like this, it is totally fine as long as those hips are forward. If you are looking for your splits flexibility, it is important to stretch your hamstrings, but it's also very important to stretch the front of your thighs. They are as important as your hamstrings because you need flexibility there for your back leg to go back, as well as flexibility in your hamstrings for your front leg to go front. Lunges are fabulous for stretching for split. Make sure, just like in your splits, you are keeping your hips square facing forward in your lunge. And you can reach back and grab your opposite foot, bringing it towards your hips for an extra intense thigh stretch. A great stretch for the front of your thighs is to stand with your hand on an object like a chair for balance. Reach back, grab the front of your ankle, and then put your knees together, push your hips forward, and come into this little thigh stretch. You can flex your foot if you want. Just make sure that those knees are nice and close together and your hips are pushing forward. You will feel it right in the front of your hip and your thigh. If you have a nice high back chair like I do, or something in your home like a mantelpiece or the back of your sofa maybe, putting your leg up on it and letting your chest come down towards your leg while you stand is another amazing hamstring stretch. You may have seen ballet dancers do this at the bar. It is a great stretch. That's why we do it all the time. Try letting your arms dangle, letting the weight of your arms pull your chest down towards your leg. And don't forget to keep that knee nice and straight. Again, none of these stretches are going to do anything for your hamstrings if your knees are bent. So make sure straight legs all the time. And those are my hamstring stretches for today. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope you're feeling nice and loose and bendy and supple and all of those good things. Once again, I will remind you to please subscribe to my channel. There are lots of other stretching videos over there, including several videos specifically for split stretching. So check it out and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.